Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about something fascinating. We're going to be talking about the strangest companies that are listed on the public stock exchanges, which means you can actually buy these companies. Now I personally wouldn't buy any of these companies because they just don't fit my investment criteria, but at the same time it's fascinating to think about. Like, one is this company called Rick's Cabaret International. Can you believe that you can actually buy a strip club? I mean, yeah, in the old days I thought, oh, maybe you get a group of friends or business partners and you buy one. Nope, in this case, anybody with a computer can buy stock in a strip club, and you can own it. And so this is the only prospectus this year that I looked at because I was kind of fascinated. I wanted to look at their investment risks and things like that, and they brought up some interesting things. Like most of the revenue comes from alcohol, but I believe they didn't really specify it, but I'm assuming 50 that they also have a system where they get commission from lap dances and things like that. And maybe they sell some food as well, but the alcohol is the most profitable thing. They said the risks are that the government may restrict alcohol. They didn't actually include pandemic risks though when they wrote this, which is interesting because that was probably something that has hurt their business a lot more than anything else. They also said there's a risk that the credit cards will just decline to process payments from places like this. So that's also an interesting thing to consider. And I was joking with my brother and a friend of ours. I was like, where do they hold these stockholder conventions? Aren't you a little bit surprised by that? Where do they have that? Do you watch like a dance while the CEO is talking about where the revenue is coming from and everything?
And I kind of wonder about how credible the accounting is.
No, it's done by a real accounting firm. It's not like done by them in-house. Don't make fun of this business. You don't have any substance for that. So he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just joking, just pulling that out. So yeah, you can own that business. I wouldn't, because look, everything is shut down. I looked at the stock. I'm not going to show it to you, but it's been down since 2018. So I don't know what happened, but actually in the prospectus it was interesting. It said when the economy goes down, they're going to get hit hard because in bad times, that's the one thing that people don't need to spend money on. Apparently it's one of those discretionary purchases that you don't really need. Another very strange company that you can buy is this company called Premier Exhibitions. Now the market cap is really small. It's only a $43 million company, but if you ever seen these special exhibits for like Titanic, bodies, real pirates, Pompeii, King Tut, Cleopatra, extreme dinosaurs, guess what? This is the company that makes that happen. I remember seeing the advertisements for this kind of thing in the museums all over the place. But that is kind of a strange thing to have as a business, because you're basically trying to sell something that gets excitement for only a limited time. Like there's only a limited amount of time that people are interested in these exhibits, and then you have to go to the next city, and then eventually I guess eventually people get bored of it and you have to find new exhibits, and you're always traveling around the whole country. I don't know, that doesn't strike me as an amazing business. And not only that, the market cap is pretty low at 43 million. It's not like you can ever imagine this company growing 10 times or 100 times, and there's not really an opportunity for scale like a tech company. So I don't think that this is a great company to buy, but it's an interesting one that's listed on the stock exchange. You can own this if you want to. Another company that you might want to look at that's unusual is Destination Maternity. It's a $337 million company, and what they do is they specialize in maternity wear. Now, people always say you should focus on niche products. Niche products are a big thing, and one of the major reasons why is it differentiates you from your competitors, because it's just great to focus on one tiny segment of the market and do extremely well at it. It really gets a lot more attention, and it allows you to concentrate on just appealing to a more fanatical fan base that really finds your kind of products interesting. So I think that is a great thing that they're actually focused just on maternity wear. It's great to focus on these more narrow markets. Now, in a way, it kind of allows you to also speculate on the baby boom or baby bust. If you think there's going to be a huge baby boom, maybe you would buy this company. It's a way of actually indirectly speculating on what's happening in terms of demographics. Another interesting, unique, eccentric business is Madison Square Garden. It's actually the only public traded company whose main business is professional sports franchises. If you think about it, you can't buy the NFL, the NFL or NBA, all that stuff. That's all private. So I guess if you're into trying to own sports franchises, Madison Square Garden, that's the only one option you have. So it's something that you might want to consider if you want to diversify into that. I personally won't, but it looks like a very eccentric choice. So another fascinating one is World Wrestling Entertainment. What do you think of wrestling, Danny? You a big fan of wrestling?
It's real.
Well, what I think actually, it's World Wrestling Entertainment. It's already a $1.3 billion company. I actually think with the decline of basketball and football, this might actually be an interesting one to invest in, because people kind of like wrestling. It is fake, but at the same time, that might actually be a plus nowadays, because people don't like how political sports has become. It's kind of a way to just focus on entertainment, and they apparently get subscribers. They have they're on the WWE network, so they make money through subscriptions, and probably make money through people going to the actual shows. And I don't know, I'm not sure how it works, but it is an interesting thing to own. You can own World Wrestling Entertainment. What do you think about that?
I don't know about the accounting so much.
Okay, now one thing that's bad about World Wrestling Entertainment, I would imagine, I don't know this for sure, I haven't read a prospectus, but with everything locked down, how are you gonna watch this in person? And I assume that's where some of the money is, unless they just have the wrestlers continue just with no audience and they just have it on TV. That's a possibility too. I actually think this is one to consider, just because there's a decline in other sports, football and NASCAR and basketball, and this might be an interesting one to see if it actually improves over time. It's one to keep on your watch list. Another interesting choice of just a eccentric company that you probably have never heard before is a company called Clean Energy Fuels Corp. So what it does is, apparently they run a bunch of natural gas stations. Apparently they have 500 fueling stations in the US and Canada. Now, as you know, most people don't have a natural gas vehicle. It's pretty uncommon in the US and Canada. So it's a very eccentric and narrow market. But at the moment, maybe as a result, it allows them to charge a bit more, since there aren't competitors. You don't have these kind of stations all over the place like you do with gas stations, which are not very they're very competitive, so there's not much profit margin, but perhaps they're able to make more, precisely because most people don't have a natural gas vehicle, and as a result, there are fewer of these natural gas stations. Maybe they are able to charge more. I'm not sure. Another interesting company is this company called Odyssey Marine Exploration. What this company does is they actually try to recover basically buried treasures on the ocean floor. Now, there are all kinds of things that have happened with shipwrecks over the years, and this company finds it, then they recover it, and that's how they make their money. They basically are a treasure. They find treasures. Anyway, this company tries to find buried treasures, and they're very successful at it. Now apparently one risk is that sometimes the items they collect from the ocean floor are not recognized under law of the region they're operating. But it still is an interesting thing if you're investing in a company that they don't produce anything. What they do is they just reclaim old lost treasures on the ocean floor. It's an interesting idea. Have you ever? It's a far cry from things like that you always hear about Google, Amazon, and Starbucks. I'm making money from things that are just buried under the ocean floor for hundreds of years, and it's mine now. Another really interesting company is this company called RPX. It's a patent risk management solutions company. So what do? They basically acquire patents And then for a subscription fee, you can actually be protected against the risk of litigation from using a lot of these kind of patents. So it's kind of an interesting thing. If you're kind of a business or technology company and you have certain kinds of patents that this company has, you just pay a subscription fee. I don't know if it's by the month or by the year, doesn't really matter. What they do is it protects you from the issue of using these kind of patents. And so it's a pretty recurring theme of revenue that they probably, and I would say out of all the companies, this was the one that's probably the most interesting, just because it's dealing with technology. Once you have the patents, and that it doesn't cost that much to just receive the money from companies that want to have the right to use these patents and these intellectual property rights. So out of all of them so far, this is interesting. RPX, Patent Risk Management Solutions, they acquire patents and then they provide a subscription service that allows you to use it. That's a pretty amazing idea. Another interesting company is this company called Collectors Universe. What they do is they authenticate sports cards, autographs, and more memorabilia and coins. Now this is a really interesting thing, because if you've ever been to one of those stores where they're selling autographs or Facebook cards, coins, you kind of wonder who the heck authenticates this stuff, proves that it's accurate and claims to be what it is. And Collectors Universe is a public company that does this as a service, and it's definitely a very valuable service. It's very specialized, and it's a very niche kind of business. It's not the kind of thing you're going to see a lot of competitors trying to do, because there's not many people who have that kind of expertise that actually know how to actually authenticate these kinds of things. So in a way, it's a great thing. It's probably a fairly predictable source of revenue that they have, although I imagine in bad times like right now, where it's like Great Depression too, they probably don't have that many people who really want to buy these items. So it might be hard to verify how much is worth. They probably just verify, I think they just verify whether it's real, not what it's worth. It's up to the market to decide what it's worth, but they decide if it is what people claim it is. Another company that, then the last one that I think is kind of interesting, is this company called GW Pharmaceuticals. And what they do is they don't sell medical marijuana or anything like that, but what they do is they use some ingredients that are in cannabis for some kinds of medicines. So it's probably like a play on the marijuana kind of stocks, but those have not done very well recently. A lot of those have not been that great, and this is not really exactly something that I would buy either, because I just don't think that. I think the whole marijuana kind of stocks, I think they petered out for now. Anyway, hope that you liked all of these eccentric stocks that I found. I think that it's interesting that they have these kind of companies listed on exchanges, because usually you only hear about like Amazon, Google, Starbucks, Apple. You never hear about these, so it's interesting to know that there's a lot of variety out there. Most of them are probably not the best companies in the world in terms of investing over the long run. There's a reason why just a few companies do exceptionally well, because they're just exceptionally managed, and that's very rare. So anyway, hope you like this video. Smash the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in another video.